Amy from Doodle Dog Design. Today I'm going to show you how to add a wool fabric fringed edge to your punch needle project. Let's get started. I'm going to finish this punch needle project around the edges in the same way that I have finished this one, with the kind of loopy edges made of wool, and then it's got a finished back. This one is called Liberty Lambs, and this pattern is called Midnight Clear. So to do this project, you're going to need your finished punch needle project, some felted wool, some scissors, and your sewing machine. The first thing I'm going to do is decide which color. When I first thought about doing this, I was going to use black. I put the black on there and I wasn't real happy with the way that looked, so I tried red. And it's okay. And then I realized I have a gold this color. I like that the best. Okay, I'm going to tack down the corners of the weaver's cloth together so it will stay in the back. I'll just do that real quick on each of the four corners. You want to measure your finished punch needle project. This one is 7 inches by 5 inches. So after you have your measurements, you need to decide how big of loops you want. For loops about this size, you want to have an extra 1.5 inches of wool on all 4 sides. So that would add 3 inches to each one of your measurements. So I started off with 7 here, and I'm going to make my pieces of wool 10 inches long. And here I started off with 5 inches, so I'm going to add 3 to this measurement and cut my piece of wool 8 inches long. Now if you wanted smaller loops, you could of course use a smaller measurement, and if you wanted bigger loops, you could cut your wool wider. Okay, if you were to proceed with the rectangle as it is, you would end up with bulk in the corner. So we need to cut out part of the corner. So you want to cut out a rectangle that is the same width as your extra wool on the sides. So in this example, that's 1.5 inches, and your other rectangle dimension is half of that. So that would be 3/4 inch. So you're going to cut out a rectangle from each corner, each of the 4 corners, that is 1.5 inches by 3/4 inches. Now it doesn't matter which way you cut it as long as all 4 rectangles are faced in the same direction. So you want their either all to be horizontal or vertical. However you would do it will determine which side the loops go all the way to the corner and which side the loops are encased by the other loops. So I'm going to cut out 3/4 inch this way and 1.5 in. I'm going to cut my rectangles all going this way, and I'm going to measure it. I'm going to mark it with a marking pencil and then cut those out. I'll let you turn this under, and this will turn under like so. And that will give you a straight corner. Okay, I've got all 4 rectangles cut out, and notice they're all going the same direction. I don't have some of them going this way and some going this way. They're all going the same direction. So you're going to take this and fold it over 3/4 inches and pin it. And then do the same on the other side. Once you have it pinned down on two sides, two opposite sides, you want to put your punch needle piece back in there. You want to make sure that your raw edges here are going to be hidden by the punch needle project. And it looks like that's going to be just fine. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew right along the edge with a straight stitch, just as close as I can to the edge of the raw edge of wool there. After you get those edges sewn up, then it's a good idea to put your punch project back on there and make sure that it fits properly. Then you're going to take the other two edges and fold them up, and they should be folded up so that they are square with these edges, which should be 3/4 inch of a fold. And then fold the other one up. And it's a good idea here to make sure that it looks like it's going to fit and cover up all the raw edges before you sew. And again, we're just going to sew right along the edge here, close to the edge as possible. After you get these other sides sewn, you can place that on there, and I'm going to just tack it down in the corners with needle and thread. So I tacked this on at each of the corners and in the middle on the long sides. And now I'm going to cut the fringe. So to cut the fringe, you want to cut from the back side, and that way you make sure you don't cut too far because you don't want to cut into the stitching. And I'm going to cut about every 3/8 inch or so. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I like the primitive look, so I don't want it to be perfect. So you want to start cutting right up close to this edge, like that. Get very close to the stitching, but again, don't cut into the stitching. If you wanted these to be perfect, you could measure it and calculate it out to make sure that you didn't end up with something weird at the end here. I'm just going to cut here and work my way back, and then kind of eyeball it once I get close to the middle. And there, that side has got its fringe. Then I'm going to do the same on all the other sides. Okay, there you have it, a wool fringe edge. I hope you found that helpful. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe below and click the like button. I'll see you next time. Bye.